Hello. Good evening. You are currently observing me with one of my latest kicks, as is what Tim calls them, my husband. So every so often I drink something or eat something and I really, really like it. And I think that's kind of like, I guess, like an addictive side to my behavior, but luckily it's nothing that can hurt me. Um, so currently it's slush puppies. So generally speaking, the gas station right down from our house has a slush puppy machine. And today, while I was making candles, because you guys know I've been busting out candles because the fair's coming up on Saturday at the Fox High School. On Saturday and Sunday, I'm doing readings and having to sell these candles, which luckily Tim is going to help me sell candles as I'm doing readings because as a courtesy for the people I read tarot for, I really don't like to interrupt their readings. I like to give them my undivided attention and really go over those cards. So I'm really lucky to have a husband that gives me all these slush puppies and is willing to work the craft fair with me. I see he just hopped on. Hi, Tim. I was just telling everybody about my latest kick with the slush puppies and how you're very supportive. So, and as a whole, I think my day went well. I spent time with Tim. I do have another debut with my candles that I will be posting once the candle is on my website. I already have the ad, the little cute little picture I make from my candles. I already have it made, so I'll announce that in the group. And I also have some exciting announcements coming up regarding lowering pretty substantially our shipping costs to make it more affordable. If you've been really undecided about buying candles from me, especially if you don't live in the area, you want to, but the shipping cost is too much. I have to give a shout out to Pamela Madison, who's in our group. She is my Avon lady and my paparazzi hookup. She's the best. So if you ever need either of those things, look her up. She's really helpful and thorough and nice. But she sent me a message about the shipping service that it's lower cost wise, but then Tim did some further research and found one that's compatible with our website. So once all that is squared away, I will make an announcement in our group about that. So yeah, so again, some really exciting changes that are still on the horizon, and I'll keep you guys all up to date about those. And yeah, today's just been mostly just doing candles. Like just my island just is full of candles, and then every day I'm just going to be busting it out to prep for this fair. So I'm just really excited because when I do readings for people, I'm in my element, and these candles are like a piece of my heart. And it makes me happy that they find a good home with others where it can provide a source of light, warmth, and happiness. That's how I look at them. So tonight we are continuing on our journey through the Suit of Wands. I do see I have a second person on here. Unfortunately, I don't know who that is. Facebook Lives can be really weird where I can see people in the top right corner of my screen, and right now I only see my husband. So I'm not sure who the other person is. So feel free to say hello, but no guarantee I'll even be able to see your comments. I watch for them, but sometimes it doesn't show me the comments until after the go live. So we are going to delve into the Eight of Wands. And what was really interesting, based on one of my resources that I utilize to do the research on our cards, being that we so deeply go into them, I got this book from Pathways here in St. Louis, which is off Lindbergh, but it's entitled Rachel Pollack's Tarot Wisdom, Spiritual Teachings, and Deeper Meanings. She is like, anything she does is highly just intelligent, well-worded. Like, tarot is such an advanced thing. It's so complex. This is a lady who totally gets tarot. Like, she is just, anything she writes, I would recommend. But she mentioned something interesting about the Eight of Wands, and I want to get her wording appropriate. because I thought it was really clever. So let's see here. So with this card, and I will read her words word by word, it's actually one of Smith's, which we're talking about Rider-Waite Smith. Smith was the lady who did the drawings in the Rider-Waite Smith. It's actually one of Smith's simplest pictures and the only minor card in the Rider deck not to show any people. And then she has in parentheses the hands and the aces and the pierced heart in the Three of Swords only have parts of bodies, but the Eight of Wands has nothing of humans at all. And that was the end of the quotation. Thus, of all the wands, the Eight is the one that is pure energy. At the same time, the wands in the sky seem angled towards the ground, as if they soon will find the stability that many associate with the number 8. I thought that was really neat, how she pieced that together. And the cool thing is, so in this book, she goes by like the cards one by one, and she'll show you cards from other decks with the different artistry, and she goes in depth about the card, and that's including the upright and reversed meanings of the card. And this is, again, it's a real meaty book. Like, let's see if I can hold it up. Like, look how thick that is. So it is well worth having this, And she also wrote the 78 Degrees of Wisdom, which is another book. I've yet to read it completely through. But with her, she's just so highly advanced with her thinking. She goes into how to line up the major arcana into rows and how the cards align with each other. Like, eventually we'll get there as a group, but I am keeping it bare bolts right now because I'm not trying to get lost in the sauce. That's more like something I would read for my own leisure and to build my own knowledge base, and kind of like maybe share after we cover all 78 cards. Then we can delve more into the complexities of the cards, And I see Christy's on here and Rebecca's on here. Good evening, guys. I'm really grateful for your presence. I'm glad to have you here. Welcome. So with the Eight of Wands, this is a card which is full of good news. Now, the good news is it means there's a lot of rapid movement. So this is the card that signifies a lot of, like you kind of saw with the picture I made in our group today, it hinted toward it. A lot of emails, calls, job offers. So all throughout the suit of wands, our main character, again, very intelligent, motivated, really driven, okay, to really gain that momentum and accomplish progression, whether it be relationships, work, or finances. Well, here, it's paying off. It's paying off in a big way, though. So, unfortunately, one of the shadow sides to this card is feeling a bit overwhelmed. And another portion of it to consider is not saying yes to every offer that comes your way. Because what we're having here is a manifestation of intent. So our main character in the previous cards in this suit, again, we have followed them on their journey. These wands, okay, are pointed downward toward the ground. So they are about to take root in the ground and form a foundation. We're talking stability, growth, structure. These are good things. But one of the kind of bad things about this is it's, again, a very rapid, fast pace, which could be very overwhelming. Now, I always tell you guys to pay attention to the color use, which everything is intentional in tarot. The colors, pictures, symbolism, everything has meaning, okay? You just got to look into it and research it. So with this blue sky, there are no clouds. So in previous go lives, I've touched upon how clouds mean that we have obscurity. Think about driving in the fog. When you've got a thick sheet of fog on the road, you really can't see well in front of you. We don't have decreased visibility. We've got a perfectly clear blue sky. The surrounding environment, we have green coloration going on with a little bit of yellow that's woven in there. So with yellow, we're looking at warmth, illumination. So we just kind of like the sun card from the Major Arcana, we have that full illumination. We can see our path. There's, like I said, there's warmth. There's just like this enlightenment, knowledge, and green stands for growth, productivity. Think of the color of money. So in your mind, as we talk and as you study tarot, it doesn't hurt to write down what numbers mean to you in addition to colors. How do these things resonate with you? What do you think of? Because that's how tarot will intuitively form, like, for lack of a better word, like a bond with you. That's how you really get your mojo going with tarot, is that you make it personal to yourself and you get greater meaning from it. And then we have this stream. And with the way that when I show you guys cards, it flips it like a mirror image. So it can make it kind of hard for me to show you guys things sometimes. But the stream, so this little stream or river that we're seeing, it is going kind of like fairly level, but then it kind of turns right here. It's like a little twisty there. But that just means, again, think about water and how it moves, especially if it's a faster moving body. It's going to move forward. And that's what we're seeing here. And I think that's cool. Now, as far as like the water itself, like the artist didn't do us any favors as far as showing like any major waves or anything like that. And I'll hold it up so you guys can see it. Because, yeah, I think it's really cool. Just to show that you're going with the flow. As life hits you, you're rolling with it. But again, not delving into that temptation of saying yes to every offer, because this is just like that word of being, what is it? Inundated? Like too many, like so many communications. It's like, oh my gosh, like it's exciting. So with wands, it's all about that fire energy. So this is manifest. This is intent being manifest, okay? It's exciting and all that great stuff, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's so much stimuli all at one time, you know? So in reference to, say, romantic relationships, now I do disagree with what I read online. I'll tell you what I read and I'll tell you my, like, perception of this card, and you, whatever resonates with you, you can take. When I see this, when it comes to relationships, I think that either the person, whether it be me or the person I'm reading for, has an awful lot going on in life, okay? So if they're kind of wondering about a relationship, I would think, oh, maybe not rapidly try to move things along. Because what could happen here is it could just be too overwhelming. Like, what if the other person doesn't feel the same way? They might feel a little overwhelmed. Like, again, we have haste. This card moves fast. So the other end, the other receiving party might not be ready to move to that next stage in the relationship. And, surely, somebody wouldn't want to scare them off. However, in sharp contrast to how I look at this card, when I read on Labyrinthos, which if you Google, say, like the Eight of Wands, it's usually under like Biddy Tarot. That's not a bad one, but for me, I prefer the Labyrinthos. You'll look up any card, it'll tell you the upright and reverse meanings, and it even goes into like little paragraphs to further explain their meaning on things. They say that this is a good card for love when it's upright, that it would show progression with a relationship. For me, though, I see it a bit different. So I would say take whatever resonates with you on that. Now, with careers, I very much think of careers with this card. So this is like, again, the good outcomes. So your project, whatever endeavor you were working on, is successful and wildly so. So it's like you're getting all these emails and calls and follow-ups, and movement is quick, and not really knowing which direction you really want to go into with that, without saying yes to everything. You want to be well thought out and not get caught up in the fiery flames of excitement that is very characteristic of one's energy. And again, it's swift. So this is not a delay. So I'll get to reversals here soon. But this is like a swift outcome. So somebody's not waiting around for an outcome for a project. With finances, this means as soon as somebody's getting some money, they're spending it on something. So as soon as it hits their hands, it's gone. It kind of reminds me of my parents growing up. Especially my daddy back in the day, he would tell me and my brother, as soon as you guys get money, it burns a hole in your pocket. Well, that saying resonates very much with the Eight of Wands, because they're not hanging on to money. It's coming and going real quick. And I I'm thinking here for a minute. Really, that would be the gist of this card. I would say if you're kind of confused as far as the meanings with relationships, whether it be romantic or even friendships, they don't have to be romantic. I would say look at the cards around this. For example, let's say if you have like an Ace of Cups, I'm going to throw out some Two of Cups, the Lovers upright around this card as in a spread. Those are good indicators that, okay, this relationship's in a good place. But now we're going to delve a bit into the reversal. So let's say if you get the Three of Swords, okay, Ten of Swords, which that's not really a great one to get. Let's say if you get the Two of Cups, Ace of Cups, upside down. So again, we're generally looking at the reverse meaning of the upright, okay? Then again, looking at more data, I would tell somebody, I know you're crazy about this person and you think the sun comes out of their rear end and you think they're great and you want to move forward, that you're in love with them, but I would say slow down. Now, online on the Labyrinthos site, it was talking about if it's reversed, then somebody would want to definitely slow down when it comes to any type of relationships. With career, it's showing a delay. So again, when it's upright, it's that fast movement. It's very overwhelming, right? It's cool, but it's overwhelming. So when it's in reverse, someone is like really bummed out and frustrated. They have worked so hard, and they might especially be in a bad way of thinking if they made mistakes, because we're human, we're going to screw up. It is the way it is. Say if they screwed up, which made the project not work out, especially if their colleagues are for example, hey, Kat, great. Just because you did this, now we can't get this project done for another week. And yeah, the project's done. You got the group project done, but then you're sitting there just being hard on yourself thinking, well, shoot, if I wouldn't have made these mistakes, then we could have gotten the project done a week sooner. So somebody might be in that frame of mind. With finances, it can show that they don't have the money coming in. So it doesn't have a chance to burn their pocket. Like when it's in the upright position, when it's in reverse, it's slow. They don't have it, and again, they're bummed out. So I'm going to go over the stuff that I wrote down and make sure I cover everything to be thorough. So I mentioned how with the wands, with how they're pointing downward toward the ground, we're talking about how they're soon to take root and have stability, which is a good thing. Now think about the number 8. Now you can't really see it because it's in the form of a Roman numeral, but think about 8. Okay, that is the infinity symbol. So what we're seeing would be cycles and repeating patterns. Okay, so that's another thing with this card. So with it being upright, are we seeing a pattern? And it would cause one to pause and question, okay, is this a productive, good pattern, or is it maybe a not so great pattern? So say if it's in reverse, reading this, I would question like, man, do I have like some sort of like shadow side, like a bad pattern to where I'm to my own detriment? Now, when it's upright, okay, because of the overwhelming positive tone to the card, I'm thinking, well, I'm doing something right. I've got a good pattern. I've got good mojo. So what am I doing? You know, because I would want to sustain that momentum because you know you're doing something right. And I'd mentioned with a clear sky, there's no obstacles. Now, so overall, some of the key descriptors of this card are rapid action, movement, and quick decisions. So that's why the shadow of this card is to make sure you don't agree to everything coming your way, because you're going to be very overwhelmed with offers. Yes, it's exciting and good, but it's kind of overwhelming as well. So lots of communication. There'll be emails, calls, and offers. This is one of the most positive cards in the Wands. In addition to, say, the Ace of Wands. This is one of the most positive ones. We're receiving news about projects that are moving forward. Fast, frantic energy. Think about somebody, okay, let's say you're at a campfire. You're camping out with some people, or maybe you're on the beach and they're making a bonfire, and they add wood or gasoline to that fire, and it's like, shoo. Well, that's the energy. Do you like my sound effect that I just did? That's the energy of the Eight of Wands. It's like adding gasoline to the fire and hoping it doesn't send your eyebrows off, burn your hair off your head type of energy. It is that strong and bright, very fast, frantic. So this is hearing good news with possible travel. So think about it. Our wands are traveling through the air. Again, they're downward, seeking roots and stability, but it's traveling. We have swift movement, heading towards stability, quick decisions, sudden changes, excitement. Now, let's see here. So with love, we have romance picking up pace. So that's another way of looking at love or even friendships. Excitement, surprises. It's saying a lot of surprises could be hitting somebody's way. I would think if it's upright, because of the overall positive energy, maybe it's a lot of cool stuff. One would hope. But then if it's in reverse, maybe it's not so great. Especially if someone gets that Three of Swords, which is, we'll learn about that when we delve into the swords, but that's the card of sadness and deception. Just, just tuck that away for now. So with career, again, we're talking quick progression, travel, but it can feel overwhelming. With finances, quick movement of money, in and out. Think about it, burning a hole in your pocket. Now with it reversed, we're looking at delayed news, not hearing back, and we're looking at a potential relationship not being promising. If someone gets this with it being reversed with the 3 or the 10 of swords or even the lovers. So say if they get the lovers and it's in reverse, that's not a good thing, because when it's upright, that's good energy. But say if they get this card with a reverse lovers, that's not so good. Same thing for those other cards I mentioned when we think about relationships. Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups. If you take that good energy in those cards, you flip it, make it reversed, you have something like this. I think that means there's some skeletons about to come out of the closet. There's about to be some chaos. It's going to be swift. That's how I interpret that. Losing momentum when it's in reverse. With love, we're looking at possible jealousy. So it could be When it's upright, another way of looking at this, it's all about perception. Someone could have a lot of suitors. So this person could be really attractive, accomplished. So let's say this fella's been crushing on this girl he works with, and she's beautiful, she's got it going on. Well, he might not be the only suitor trying to take her out and knock on her door. So, and I'm not trying to be any which way, but remember what I told y'all about the ones in general, especially when I very first started teaching the one suit. They, on purpose, these ones look like a penis. And I'm not saying that to be perverse or inappropriate. That was intentional. It was supposed to mean like fertility, to represent a male's, virility when they impregnate a female. So that's why when you look at the ones, they look like penises. So you see where my mind went. If you see a lot of this in relation to love, again, it could mean there's a lot of fellas, for example, which, sex is neutral with tarot. It could go either way, male or female. A lot of suitors at their doors. Again, don't get lost in the sauce. Misunderstandings. So let's go back to the reversal. So we have misunderstandings, confusions, delays with love, right? So here, upright, it's quick moving. When it's in reverse, we have delays. Career, delayed results, stagnation, frustrated. Finances, slow flow of money, okay, lack of financial growth. And that covers what I wanted to cover with you guys for this. So now I'm going to show you the cards for comparison. I'm going to first take a drink of my slush puppy. Ah, man, those are so good. I love cherry slush puppies. Okay, so here we have the Eight of Wands. And so what we see is our little crow friend, and there are literally 8 wands. It's like they're coming toward him, and they could possibly hurt him or interrupt his flight, but he's continuing forward anyway. And around our little crow friend, we have tranquility. We've got various shades of blue. There's sunflowers that are yellow, red, standing for victory, passion, love. These are good indicators. Blue, standing for tranquility, calm, truth. We're seeing the little green tree in the background, standing for growth and prosperity. So this is continuing forward. This is forward progression. And again, note how the wands are down. They're pointing downward as they're going down, and they're going to root and have more stability and form foundation. So again, there's a lot of resemblances. That's why you look for a deck based on Rider-Waite-Smith, because the symbolism and even colors can carry over. Hi, Cassandra. Good evening. I'm glad you're here. The video that you posted of your candle really made my heart happy yesterday. Thank you for sharing that with our group, by the way. Here's the Eight of Wands, where it is very much just like our Rider-Waite-Smith, where they are basically the same thing, except we don't have the backgrounds. We don't know the environment necessarily. And I was talking about the phallic nature of these wands. With these don't look like penises. These are just straight up like wands, Now the tips of them are yellow, and the yellow stands for the things that we've talked of in the past. Illumination, so they can totally see their path and where they're going. Warmth, clarity, all those good things. And when you look at the overall colors used in the pictures, we've got white, which is purity, cleanliness. It's like a new start. We've got pink and red, so we're saying love, passion. We have yellow in the background, and all of the wands are different colors. So these are various things that are coming to fruition, that are paying off, and it's at the same time. Again, this can be very overwhelming, Now, this is a really pretty black and white one. I always love to watch the little geese fly. It is neat how they do it in the little V formation. And I read some time ago, if one of their own falls behind, that one of the other ones will leave the formation to stay with the other one. Like, I thought that was so beautiful how they do that. But if you ever see them in a parking lot, don't mess with them because they're little rough characters, you know. That's why they're not fearful of humans. So here we're seeing that our 8 of wands are actually not flying through the air, but they're already rooted and secure in the ground. And our geese are flying forward in the card. So again, remember, this is a mirror image, so it might look a bit different to you. But when we think about air, and we'll get to this when we learn about the Suit of Swords, which is all about action, communication, air. Okay, this is all about forward momentum and communication. When you see these geese, which we think of related to air, they're having that forward momentum progression. And think when these little guys fly, they're flying fast. They're covering some mileage there. This very much embodies the energy of this card. And then in the background, it would be like there's obstacles behind the wands. But you know what? They're not flying toward those obstacles. So what if they messed up along the way? They've had very good outcomes, so much so to where it's like, oh my gosh, so overwhelming. And they're picking a direction and they're going for it, you know, and they're leaving it. It's almost like they're leaving those obstacles behind them. And one beautiful way of looking at it is they reached that success and that potential by enduring the obstacles together and growing together and overcoming and adapting. That's a beautiful way of looking at this too. So again, based on how an artist draws things and based on intuition and your own perception, you may see something totally different than me, and that's encouraged and it's okay. So like Honor's reading tonight, I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. And if you haven't seen it, please watch it. She recorded it and did great. But she ended up pulling the, what was it? The 8 of Pentacles. And our group got that card like, I don't know, about a week or so ago. And I interpreted it and posted it in the group. And she gave her interpretation and she acknowledged mine. And she's like, okay, it was cool, but this is what I see. I was cheering like, yes, yes. That's exactly what I want from everybody in our group, is to find their own intuition and voice. Take what serves you, leave the rest, but you're growing on your journey. That's what matters. So I'm so proud of her beyond words. Like, there's not enough words to brag on her. But no, I thought that was cool. And then, so the 8 of Wands with the non-traditional one. So what I'm about to show you is from a deck not based in Rider-Waite-Smith. The other ones were based in Rider-Waite-Smith. So with this one, we have this lady, and it looks like she might be outside. She's very comfortable. She's sleeping. And above her head, on top of these like white flowers, she has all these red cardinals. Which, if you're from St. Louis, when you think of a cardinal, you think of baseball. You can't help it. Once you move here, you acclimate to that. But see, there's this one female bird. So remember that with nature, it's in reverse. So the males have the beautiful feathers, and the females are generally brown or, you know, some type of color like that. But she's not worried, really. Despite all that stimuli above her head, she's just continuing to kind of turn inward and rest. It could be from the fatigue from all these communications. These birds can, like, again, they're air, which again is like our swords, okay, about communication, okay. It could be all this communication coming our way. She's like, you know, I can't do it today. I need to rest and sleep on this and think about it and then make a decision. And what really drew my eye was the little brown bird. So, you know, like, it's that feminine energy. Like, so I posted in our group about the High Priestess today. It's about, especially when we have completion, like a full moon like we have tonight, turning inward, and don't discount your intuition. It is another frame of reference. Too often we second guess ourselves and we put too much, when you're thinking about scales and balance, too much weight on just logic. And I love logic. I really do. I thrive in it. However, I'm a Pisces. So I just had a birthday. So, I was born here in March. So I'm a very water driven person. And so I'm very self-aware of my emotional state, because I want to be taken seriously by people when I talk to them, especially if I'm at work. So I want to make sure that I'm in control of what I say and that I have ownership of every word it's about to leave my mouth. And so that's where you got to balance the two. It's good to be passionate and advocate and do the right thing. There's a right way of doing it. But so, it's not just like the Rider-Waite-Smith, but what would be hard is, let's say if someone was alone in their practice. I was alone when I first started reading tarot years ago. Okay. I knew for years I was drawn to it. There weren't any metaphysical shops in Tennessee. There was no tarot deck for me to get. So I wish I would have started earlier in life. I really did. It wasn't in the cards for me. But let's say if someone's alone and they're starting out and they get this card and they're looking, and there's a lot to derive from it. But think for a minute, are they going to derive the same meaning as, say, this one? Now, for me, if I didn't know anything about tarot, and this is why I tend to lean toward decks with humans and animals and things going on in it. If it's just a picture of some pentacles or whatever the suit is, wands, swords, cups, and nothing else. It's just bam, 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 bam. I honestly don't get anything from it. I really don't. So what I've had to do over the years, if I get a card like this, I'm definitely looking it up, because I'm like, why are the wands there? What does that mean? Why isn't there anything else going on? And that's perfectly normal to feel that way. So I still think somebody being there's nothing other than these guys and the card, they would still be confused. But if anything, I don't know. I still don't think that they would get the core meaning of this card looking at the non-traditional, even though this card is beautiful. And there's a lot to be derived from it, even insight. But I would say with the Eight of Wands, either way, it would probably be challenging when you're learning. So that's why it's really good that you have, they generally come with a little reference book included with the deck. And you can also buy books as reference and just, first look at it intuitively, what it means to you, what you're seeing, write it down, and then look up the meaning. And that's how you learn them. But we just kind of observe the similarities, similar symbols, color use. That is what I love about decks based on Rider-Waite-Smith. I like that carryover. It just makes sense to me, But again, these artists, and I love them all. I'm a tarot deck collector for sure. They can take so many artistic liberties. So I really advise people, don't just buy a deck to buy it. Look it up, Google it, look under images, see if those images resonate with you. And if it's based on Rider-Waite-Smith. And if not, you can take your non-traditional card, get you a little deck based on Rider-Waite-Smith, and put them together to where when you do a spread or even a one-card draw, you put them together. Or you can have a book with a picture of the Rider-Waite-Smith card and then a narrative, usually it's a one-pager, about what it means, including even reversals. And if you don't read reversals, it's okay. Nobody says you have to read reversals. That is the beautiful thing about this. You don't have to be like anybody else. There is nothing saying you have to do it the same as somebody else. If anything, how boring would that be? No way. I would rather have all the different insights and perspectives, because that's the beautiful complexity, and it's so personalized per person. So that sums us up for tonight with the Eight of Wands. I'm really proud of us as a group. I'm really excited with where we're going. So if any of you guys have been doing tarot, or even if it's a short time but you want to give it a try, I'm cool if you want to do a go live or record yourself like Honor did on our phone and then post it in the group. I would say though, as a courtesy, let me know so that I'm aware. because what I generally like to do is I want to get a bio. I want a brief description about you to introduce you to the group, how long you've been reading tarot, anything you would want the group to know when I would announce the date of your reading. And I'm totally here to cheer you on. So if that resonates with you, that's certainly an opportunity. And other than that, of course, we have the craft fair coming up at Fox High School this weekend. Feel free to come by and say hi if you're in the Arnold area. I'll have my candles and I'll be doing readings both days. And I think that's the gist. So I will see you guys tomorrow evening. I hope that you sleep well and that you have a great day tomorrow. And I will post an oracle card in our group tomorrow for Wild Oracle Wednesday. And yeah, and then I'll do our tarot teaching moment at 8 p.m. again. And we'll keep progressing. I'll cover the 9 of Wands tomorrow. And we're almost to the end of the suit, and then we'll do the court cards for the wands. And then I think we'll do the swords after this. So we're making progression, guys. And if you're new to our group and you have missed any of these tarot teaching moments, don't sweat it, because this is a chill group. You can find my videos on YouTube. I download these go lives. So if you go to Mountain Crow Tarot, I have them all categorized based on the suit or if it's court cards, major arcana. So you can play them and see if it resonates with you and helps you. If anything, as a group, we've grown together, and I continue learning about these cards I've been looking at for years now. So it's really cool and exciting to be with you guys. So that sums me up. I don't know why I ever try to sum myself too awful much, because I'm a chatty person. I'm a talker. I know I am. So now I will let y'all be. Thank you again. Bye.